I also want to let everyone know that we are recording this, not for a public broadcast, but we do want to send it to people that might not be able to join us today, because we realize that doctors and medical professionals and other healers' schedules at this moment are consumed with preparation and care for those that are ill and those that we expect to be ill, unfortunately, in the next several weeks. Wait another couple of minutes. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see what I'm sharing on my screen, which is a kavanah for the healers. The intent of the next 30 minutes or so is to recognize and honor and support and give chizuk and to say we see you and we hear you, all those who are playing a tremendous role in the well-being, the physical and emotional well-being of our community at this time of crisis. In yesterday's Globe and Mail, there was a folio section on the frontline healthcare workers who miss their family, fear for the worst, and hope that they're ready. And there was a couple different stories here of different people throughout Canada who play a variety of roles within the health industry about what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're expecting as hospitals across the country are bracing for what's expected to be a rush of coronavirus cases in the coming weeks, especially these next 2 weeks. We know that this is an incredibly intense time for our entire community, for our country, for the world. And those who serve with their passion and compassion as healers, as doctors, nurses, therapists, people that work within the hospital and any number of important work jobs, from those who make sure it's clean to those who make sure its finances work, to people in government who have the responsibility for healthcare. I can't even imagine what the pressure and anxiety might feel like. But I do know that it's important for us as a religious community to say to those members of our synagogue and to their colleagues that we see you, we hear you, and we think about you all the time. And we want you to know, not only through this service, but maybe through other services in the future, but certainly through the phone and email and text messaging, that all of us at Beth Tzedec, certainly the spiritual leadership team and our lay leadership, we're here for you. And if at any time you need to text, to call, to write, we're there. We're here to pray with you. We're here to listen. We're here to cry with you if necessary. We're here to shout into the skies, or we're here just to sit silently. And our goal is this evening that some of the beautiful prayers written by colleagues of ours throughout the world, and also from our tradition, will provide each of you with chizuk, with strengthening, so that you feel supported when those moments come, and your legs feel like they're going to give way and your arms feel like they're not going to move, and your brain, you don't know if it's yesterday, today, or tomorrow. At those moments, we hope you'll recall this service, and you'll know that you're not alone, and that we're with you as a sacred community, and that we hope and pray that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that God is with you, guiding you along the way. And so we'll begin with a healer's prayer for physician and all healers, written by Naomi Levy. This is the prayer that we sent to you in advance as a teaser for this evening. Open my eyes, God. Let no symptom of illness elude me. Steady my hands, God. Shield me from fear, anxiety, and impatience. Teach me to breathe deeply, to find peace, calm, and clarity, even in the most stressful situations. Open my heart, God. Remind me that my compassion is as essential as my precision. Open my mind, God. Shelter me from distraction. Bless me with insight, curiosity, and the humility to ask for help. Open my arms, God. Remind me that even when I have no cure to offer, precious healing resides in the touch of my hands. Open my mouth, God. Place wisdom on my tongue. Bless me with words that are clear and kind, honest and encouraging. Open my ears, God. Teach me to listen with my entire being. When I am overwhelmed and exhausted, when I feel as if I have no more to give, be my strength, God. Renew my spiritual, revive my soul. I am humbled by the miracles that unfold before me each day. Miracles of nature, miracles of medicine, miracles of the human spirit, miracles that lie beyond my comprehension. I thank you, God, for entrusting me with this sacred calling. We now call upon Cantor Ezer to lead us in a singing of Misha Berach by Debbie Freeman.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBeracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor HaBeracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you, Chazan. We call on Rabbi Friar Bodzin to lead for us a prayer for the health and healing of healers by Rabbi Ayelet Cohen. Rabbi, did you unmute yourself?
May the one who blessed our ancestors, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists, and bless especially an individual or other categories of health workers who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. Next slide, please.
It should be visible.
It's not.
Is it visible now?
No.
Hmm.
Why don't you continue with it if you have it?
Thank you. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength. Keep them in health that they may bring healing. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days. We now invite Aviva Chernik, our artist in residence, to share with us a meditation.
Thank you, Reb Steve. Erev Tov, good evening. I'm glad to be here with you. So we're going to take just a few minutes to turn to our bodies and our breath. So wherever you are, seated in a chair, perhaps feel your weight against the chair. If you're standing, just notice your feet weighted on the ground. Notice your feet resting there on the ground. Resting. Notice the part of you that is in contact with the chair or the ground, resting, being held. Now bring your attention to your breath. Through everything, it has been there all along, moving the body. Notice how it moves the body. Rising and falling. Rising and falling. You are being breathed. We are being breathed without having to control this process. Just be a witness for a moment to this rising and falling. This is chayut, aliveness, coursing through the body all the time. As you notice this aliveness, perhaps ask your body, where else do you feel chayut or wellness in this moment? Perhaps your hands feel strong. You might make fists and feel the strength and the wellness of your hands. Or the same in your feet. Or in your cheeks. Or maybe in your heart. Notice wellness in your body. And if in this time you yourself are struggling with illness, bring a gentle kindness to the body. Perhaps with the words, it's okay. It's going to be okay, just like you might when you are caring for another. For all of us, let's bring our palms to the center of our chest to close. As you rest your hand, your palms perhaps at the center of your chest, feel the rising and falling now. With the palms weighted, resting on the body. The possibility for resting at the end of every exhalation. As the breath moves the body. And to close, let's take a big breath together, breathing in. And letting the breath fall out of the body, resting in this moment, right here, right now.
Thank you, Aviva. Now we invite Dr. Judith Goldberg, member of the congregation, to read for us a prayer of hope during this pandemic, also written by Rabbi Naomi Levy.
Prayer of hope during this pandemic. We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world, helpless and confused. We turn to you, seeking comfort, faith, and hope. Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak. Our young must take care of our old. Help each one of us to do our part to help the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of this battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless these efforts, bless their efforts, God. Fill our leaders with the wisdom and the courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us. Grace us with your love. Bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. Amen.
Amen. The oath of Rambam of Maimonides, who of course was not only a halachist and a philosopher, but also a doctor, Alexandria, Egypt. We invite Dr. Zane Brickman, who just recently got married to Laura Ellman. The first for us at Beth Tzedec, our first Zoom wedding. So mazel tov to you, Zane. We know that you go back into the hospital next week, and we wish you, as well as all your colleagues, chizuk, strengthening at this time. Please read for us the Oath of Maimonides.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. The Eternal has appointed me to watch over the life and health of your creatures. May the love for my art actuate me at all times. May neither avarice or miserableness, nor thirst for glory or great reputation engage my mind. For the enemies of truth and philanthropy could easily deceive me and make me forgetful of my lofty aim of doing good to your children. May I never see in the patient anything but a fellow creature in pain. Grant me the strength, time, and opportunity always to correct what knowledge I have acquired, always to extend its domain. for knowledge is immense and spirit of humanity can extend indefinitely to enrich itself daily with new requirements. Today may I discover my errors of yesterday, and tomorrow let me obtain a new light on what I think I am sure of today. O God, you have appointed me to watch over the life and death of your creatures. Here am I ready for my vocation, and now I turn unto my calling.
Thank you, Zane. Next, we're going to sing a song that is, music is written to the words of Kol Ha'olam Kulo, wonderful quote by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. Rabbi Nachman really believed in the personal nature of God and of an intimate relationship with God. The words are really quite simple, but yet profound. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar ma'od. The entire world is a very narrow bridge, meaning that the journey through life is narrow. It is filled with obstacles and with challenges. Sometimes it seems more narrow than others. I just want to note that the word tsar, narrow, as in gesher tsar ma'od, a very narrow bridge, is the same word at the heart of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. Egypt is called the narrow place because it's literally built out from the Nile River, from the narrowness of the river. But also midrashically, Egypt was the narrow place spiritually. It's the place in which Bnei Yisrael was enslaved, and the place in which, at least biblically, our ancestors believed that the Egyptian gods were not God. And part of the plagues that we recall on Pesach, on Passover, is a battle of the gods. And it's a battle of chirut, of freedom, being liberated from those narrow places. And so Rabbi Nachman of Breslov continues, well, if the whole world is a very narrow bridge, v'ha'ikar lo lefachet klal, the essence then of life is not to be afraid. And the reason for that is that if you walk the path of life, if you walk the bridge of existence in community and with God, then whatever those challenges are, we can find the courage and the resiliency to overcome them. The ha'ikar, the essence of living a meaningful life, lo lefachad klal, is not to be afraid. And so we hope that this service will provide chizuk, strengthening, so that our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, our community, those of you who are on the front lines, helping us, helping our community to be healthy and safe, who are going to encounter the most narrowest of bridges that one can imagine in the next several weeks. We want you to know the ikar is that you're not alone, and therefore you should not be afraid. We are with you. Aviva, will you lead us, please?
Kol ha'olam kulo kesher tsar me'od, kesher tsar me'od, kesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo kesher tsar me'od, kesher tsar me'od. Ve'ha'ikar, ve'ha'ikar, lo lefached, lo lefached klal. Ve'ha'ikar, ve'ha'ikar, lo lefached klal. One more last time. Ve'ha'ikar, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל.
Thank you, Aviva. Finally, as we conclude this service and we continue with our week, we'll sing, we'll chant words from the prophets. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Yomar Elohechem. Comfort, comfort my people, says our God. This is from the Haftarah of the day after, the Shabbat after Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av for Bnei Yisrael was like 9/11. It was the destruction of the temple. It was exile. It was war. It was a time of chaos that completely redefined what the Jewish experience would be. In the chaos that followed for about 150 years, we made the transition from a biblical religious tradition to a rabbinic religious tradition. I never understood, for example, the phrase that we say at the bottom of the Chadodi or after cemetery when we greet mourners, Hamakom yinachem echem b'tok sha'ar v'leitzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. I never fully understood that until I lived through 9/11, because for me, 9/11 was the first major national, international trauma that I've ever experienced. And I knew, following that, what it meant to be a mourner, someone who mourned a national trauma, which is, of course, what Hamakom Yinachem is for. Since the Jewish people have all mourned the national trauma of the destruction of the temple, we all understand what it means to mourn. Same is true with this pandemic. Though I studied in rabbinical school notions of shat dechak, of communal crisis and emergency, and how pikuach nefesh dochefet hakol, that the preservation of life pushes aside all other mitzvot. It's theoretical until you live through something like this and you actually have to start making decisions about how do you do minyan, how do you marry a couple, how do you do burials, how do you celebrate Pesach at times of national and, in our case, global emergencies. Fortunately, our tradition, being 4,000 years old, has a vocabulary for us to give us perspective, to give us strength, to give us hope, to help us find comfort. And these words, Nachamu, Nachamu, are part of that tradition for comfort. And with these words, therefore, we'll conclude. We ask Cantor Ezer to lead us.
Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, Yomar Elohechem. 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 Na 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 Nachamu, nachamu ami. Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, nachamu ami. Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, nachamu ami. Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, nachamu ami. Yomar Elohechem.
Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Yudis and Zane, for joining us and participating. We're going to send this recording to the list of all the medical professionals in our community, and we hope that when they feel a little down, that they will review this and that they'll find it of a source of chizuk ve'imutz, chazak ve'ametz. May all the medical professionals go forward with strength and with courage, and know that all of us are here to support you. And please, if you ever, if you ever want to call upon us, don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. You too.